Hi, I am Madison Rutherford. Next we'll be talking Annika, Bastin, and last will be Shay. We are experts on endorphins. You might ask what an endorphin is. Well, that's what this video is about. Keep watching to learn more about the endorphin molecule, how it works, and what it's made up of. First off, we will start by explaining the background. On December 18, 1975, a team of scientists being led by John Huffs and Hans Kotzerslitz at University of Aberdeen published an article on their findings of two pentapeptides in the brain that contain opiate activity. They found a molecule in a pig's brain that had a pain-reducing results, which they discovered in humans as endorphins.
Endorphins are similar to morphine, which makes sense because endorphins are natural pain relievers. Endorphins are found in our brains and released throughout our body's nervous system. They are connected to pleasure, but they can also act as a pain reliever.
Before the official discovery of endorphins during the published article in 1975, other scientists such as neurochemist Co. Lee in the 1960s discovered the pain-relieving effects of a hormone inside the brain and the pituitary gland. The research from the 60s led to Sweden and American scientists' finding of a receptor in the brain responding to opium, heroin, and morphine, all of which relieve pain. And if there is no pain, it gets a person high. Opiates like heroin are dangerously addictive. However, the endorphins naturally created in our bodies are not.
I've been using the word morphine, but we haven't explained what it is. Morphine is a narcotic that helps with pain. It is found in the poppy flower, which is where heroin is found as well. It is taken in the form of pills, injections, powders, or liquids. It is a very dangerous drug that, when overused, can lead to coma, slow breathing, severe vomiting, nausea, abdominal pain, and bluish fingertips and nails. When one takes morphine, it throws their endorphin levels off balance. It is similar to endorphins because of the way it reacts in the brain. We have opioid receptors in our brain that react with both endorphins and morphine and other drugs known as opiates, which are pain-killing drugs. Opiates mimic the endorphins but are not good for the body. Our bodies adjust to the high levels of endorphins provided by the morphine quickly, and once this occurs, the body can't thrive without the drug. If one tried to quit the drug morphine because the body was used to such high levels of endorphins and can't produce as many natural endorphins as they had, they will suffer uncontrollable pain and sickness.
Endorphins are neurotransmitters which are found in the pituitary gland of the brain. The main triggers for the release of endorphins are stress and pain. Endorphins work with the opiate receptors to reduce pain. When high on endorphins, we feel less pain and less stress. When people exercise for a prolonged period of time, the rate of endorphins released will increase. However, some people produce more endorphins than others, meaning that some people enjoy exercise more than others do. Along with this, endorphins can be released when we eat spicy foods such as chili peppers, sweet foods such as chocolate, or during sexual activity. Right before orgasm, endorphins are released along with oxytocin, commonly called the love hormone. The area of our brains involved in pain reduction are activated during arousal. When women have an orgasm, pain tolerance threshold and pain detection threshold increases significantly by up to 74.6% and 106.7% respectively.
Endorphins are neurotransmitters, and we are going to explain what a neurotransmitter is and how it works in our bodies. Neurons are classified into three types. Sensory neurons send signals from our sense organs up our spinal cord and brain. Motor neurons send signals from our brain and spinal cord to our organs. Lastly, interneurons connect sensory and motor neurons and transport signals between them. Neurons are similar because they have a similar structure. There are axon tails, myelin sheaths, nodes connecting the myelin sheaths, axon, cell body, dendrites, and a nucleus. Most of the neuron's activity takes place in the cell body, which contains a nucleus and cytoplasm. Dendrites carry the signals, while axon does the opposite. It releases signals. While there are a lot of dendrites, there's only one axle. The cluster of dendrites and axon fibers are called nerves. At the end of each axle, there's a membrane known as the myelin sheath that leaves gaps for nodes. When the signals are sent through the axle, they move fast because they jump from node to node. Along with this, neurons have synapses, which allow one cell to pass an impulse to another cell. A gap separates the axon terminal from the dendrites of the adjacent cell, in this case, a neuron. The terminals have tiny sacs filled with neurotransmitters, which is what endorphins are. They're chemical neurons used to send an impulse across a synapse to another cell. When we want to proceed with an action, the sacs release the neurotransmitters into the small gaps between the two cells. The neurotransmitters diffuse across the gap between the cells and attach themselves to the receptors of the neighboring cells. This triggers the release of positive sodium ions to speed across the cell membrane, which causes the second cell to be stimulated. If the stimulation is too high for the cell, a new impulse is started. Seconds after the neurotransmitters are released, they are either broken down by enzymes or recycled by the axon terminals.
Neurotransmitters are chemicals from the brain that share information throughout our bodies and brains. Neurotransmitters send signals between our nerve cells, which are called neurons. Neurotransmitters are controlled by your brain and they tell your heart to beat, your stomach to digest, etc., etc. They can also control your mood, weight, and sleep, along with many other functions. Lots of Americans' neurotransmitter levels are off balance because of many elements such as stress, diet, drugs, and caffeine. The two kinds of neurotransmitters are exhibitory and inhibitory. Exhibitory are there to stimulate the brain. Inhibitory calm the brain and balance mood. Endorphins are inhibitory neurotransmitters.
When you drink caffeine, you can feel more awake and excited. That's because your body is releasing adrenaline and endorphins. The caffeine mimics the chemical structure of a certain neurotransmitter that's responsible for shutting down the body for sleep, but the caffeine blocks the body shutting down, keeping you awake. The caffeine is also increasing your body's brain speed to prepare for flight or fight, which happens in the pituitary gland in the brain. By doing it so, it kickstarts the brain into releasing adrenaline and endorphins, which allows people to feel an uplift in their mood.
The endorphin molecule contains holmium, helium, nitrogen, and oxygen. The oxygens are all double bonded. The endorphin molecule is similar to a protein ranging from 5 to 40 or more amino acids in length. Proteins are normally produced in long strands and then are cut into smaller pieces to function individually. Endorphins work similarly. Endorphins are created as portions of promyelinating POMC molecules that are coded by a gene. They are cut by enzymes into smaller subunits. Along with endorphins' function of creating pleasure, it contains within its structure two pentapeptides, metenkephalin and leuenkephalin, which are created by 5 amino acids joining together, and the only difference between the two molecules is the amino acid present in the terminal end of the molecule.
When you exercise, you release chemicals called endorphins. The endorphins interact with the receptors in your brain that reduce your perception of pain. This acts as analgesic, which diminishes the perception of pain. Endorphins also trigger a positive feeling in the body. The feeling that follows a workout is described as euphoric, also known as a runner's high. The levels don't increase until an hour after workout. Endorphins are manufactured in your brain and spinal cord. They're considered painkillers because they activate opioid receptors in the brain that help minimize discomfort. Along with exercising, smiling and laughing can be good for your health and the release of endorphins. This is triggered by the movement of muscles in your face. The laugh and smile doesn't have to be real to release endorphins. You can fake a smile and it will do the same job.
Thanks for watching!